Two Soviet surface groups have been patrolling the New Zealand coast, cutting the nation off from vital supplies. As such, the New Zealand government has invoked the ANZUS Treaty and requested assistance. With the majority of the US 7th Fleet occupied, the Australian government has authorized the deployment of the largest surface action group since World War II to clear the seas. Behind this group is the relief force, carrying vital supplies. All ships in this group must make it to New Zealand. The two Soviet SAGs consist of a screening force with 2 frigates and a much larger group with 2 Kinder-class guided missile cruisers and multiple destroyers. These groups are aware of our operation and are moving to engage. HMAS Otama is currently racing into position to intercept. A single P-3 has been supplied for air cover. Multiple Soviet submarines have been reported in the AO. Hey there, and welcome back to Sea Power. As you have heard in the briefing, we have our work cut out for us. We have a relief objective to reach with our relief force. In order to do that, we're first going to have to clear the way. And in order to do that, we need to get rid of 2 frigates first. I have a glaring suspicion that Otama is capable of detecting and also fairly quickly identifying these ships as Krivacs. These are the 2 Krivacs that the mission briefing spoke of. Then, in the back, we most likely have one of these ships as the Kinder class. It's just a question of which one. Now, what sort of assets do we have? We got Otama. That's this submarine. Oberon class. She is capable of launching Mark 48s, so that's going to come in very handy at 20-mile range. Very, very good torpedoes. As for our surface ships, we have a couple of, as you can imagine, Australian ships. This is Brisbane. She's leading the formation. We also have Perth. Another one of the, what was it, Charles Adams, I think? Yeah, another Charles F. Adams class. Adelaide. This is one of their homegrown Adelaide-class missile frigates. Not strictly homegrown, but they had some adjustments made by the Australians. There are a couple of hostile warships. There we go. We got the first one identified. And we should be able to engage that fairly soon with a couple of harpoons. Right now, though, slightly out of range. As for our sensors, we're currently running under MCON with all of these ships. And seeing as my video from yesterday, I'm going to keep it as such for a while. I am going to, however, go slow. I'll tell the whole formation to slow down to 1/3 ahead. The reason for this is that I want to first have some time with a couple of helicopters in order to clear the path. So we're first going to do some ASW. And in order to do that, Adelaide is going to launch a helicopter, and so is Canberra. Behind us, this task force, this relief force, is probably making quite a lot of noise, but they are slow. They're doing only 11 knots. As for these ships, yeah, we already have them identified as hostile ships. It's just a question of what. Seeing as there could very well be an Udaloy as an escort, this might be it. Rogov is not that likely, it's a landing ship. The other one here, potentially a Krivac or a Kashin. I'm not really expecting another Kara. And over there, well, I am expecting this thing to be hostile and to be the ship that we are looking for. My submarine is a diesel-electric boat, and as such will have to snorkel at times. For now, not a problem. So I'm going to keep it as such. These guys are only getting detected by sonar. Yeah, we're just using sonar against each other right now. And these guys might be relying on the submarines that were also reported in the briefing. So as of right now, it's just going to be a bit of ASW and waiting for those ships to get into range. As for the formation, I think it's fairly conspicuous the way that we're lined up here, but I also want to have that line in order to protect the relief force from incoming missiles. So it's not a great formation, but it is definitely a bit of a show of force. What can our standard missile range do? 24 miles. Sydney's 11 miles out. Still, I'd rather they sink a warship than one of my relief force. So that is going to be the play here. I need to keep this formation intact. We are, however, going to start dropping some soda buoys. I'm going to do this manually this time. I'm not going to rely on the auto dropper. Let's mark the last couple of buoys there and there. And then the other helicopter should also be coming up. This way I know not to drop at the exact same site. So we're going to go here. Let's see. What is our range? We should be expecting torpedoes at a range of about 10 clicks. So actually let's put those... No. Let's put those range circles at a good range of about 10 miles away from... Yeah, actually from the core of the core of formation could work. So Brisbane about 10 miles. And then Melbourne about 10 miles. There. And we have the Sydney over there on the other flank. Sydney also 10 miles. Sydney can stream her towed array. She can also stream her towed decoy. As for Perth, she only has an active sonar, which I don't want to use. I suspect I have probably been detected, but it's not something I really wish to encourage any further. So for now, we should be able to just let the helicopters do their job. Search for submarines, while we wait to get into range. I don't believe we have any capabilities of launching helicopters equipped with surface-to-surface, or rather air-to-surface missiles. Actually, we do. Nice. Okay. In that case, we're going to launch those with a couple of penguins. Canberra can also do the same thing. Anti-ship. I'm just not sure about the range of the penguin. Wasn't that about, what, 21 miles? I had fairly low range. Melbourne, I'm going to keep you as a reserve ASW asset. So you're going to get one helicopter to launch anti-ship and one helicopter to stay aboard as another ASW asset. Okay, what can these missiles do? 19 miles. Yikes. That is quite likely to put me within missile range of those Krivacs. Air surface-to-air range. Well, it's only 8 miles. So we're able to launch our weapons without a threat of getting intercepted. That's good. Where's that third warship down here? I don't like this one bit. They're doing 26 knots. Given that they're doing 26 knots, and I'm about 2 hours away, or rather in 2 hours they'll be doing that. I'm doing 6 knots. I have a range of 20 miles, 20 miles on my torpedoes. So that is my range. The problem is, if I speed up, I have a fairly decent chance of getting detected by virtue of their submarines. If I maintain my current speed and stick to 6 knots, in 2 hours I'm going to be there. That will be sufficient. So we're just going to stay here, where we'll be on course to intercept these ships. Ideally, be able to neutralize them with the Otama before we can eliminate, or before rather these guys can eliminate me. However, it's not likely. If there is in fact a Kinda in there, and potentially an Udaloid, they will have long-range missiles, and I will already be in range. There is no really two ways about it. I will already be in range, so I should, for all intents and purposes, be prepared to take some incoming missiles. For right now, though, not yet. For right now, we're just going to go to 20 feet with all of our newly found attack helicopters and prepare to go on the offensive with a couple of penguins. As weird as that sounds. We have a new submerged submarine. He's been detected pretty far away, 57 miles out. So I'm suspecting that we got this guy based on a couple of convergence zones. Unfortunately, most of my helos are out and about and busy. But this is a sneaky, sneaky spot for a submarine. Because it's definitely capable of trying to slip its way in behind my leaders, behind my escorts, and therefore just have a go at the relief force without really being able to do anything about it. That is unfortunate. However, the Soviets are also going to have their own issues soon. I have two formations. I have Penguin 1 and Penguin 2. Helicopters normally in this game don't fly into formation, so if you want to set this up, just use the formation menu. Right-click it. Come on. Right-click it, create a formation, and therefore you'll be able to use these things in a formation. Otherwise, I'd have to micromanage them, which I don't like. Try to make the game as easy as possible on yourself. I'm trying to still fly them in fairly low, and as these guys are not actively using much of a radar, they might not know that these helos are here. That is excellent. Now, I wonder how I picked this thing up. Unknown. It's a dormant contact. I have a couple of helos still out there laying sonar buoys, and I want to keep them doing that because I want to keep this formation safe. So we're just going to have to be a little patient for this sea sprite to get ready and have a go at that submarine. Let's say we're going to place a buoy fairly close to him and see if that'll pick anything up. As for the helos, we have a range of about 19 miles, 18 to 19. So I'm kind of staying outside of their range for a little bit. Because I know there's not just one Krivac, there's two. And therefore the job is to get close, then pop up, activate radar, surprise them from two different vectors, and make sure that they have to engage and defend two different spreads of missiles. And they can pick which ones they want to focus on. Ideally, they'll not stop any of them. But I'd say if they stop 3 out of 4 missiles from each side, that's fine. Because that still gives me enough killing power to deal with these ships. And it saves me from having to use all of my harpoons mounted on those ships. Of course, you could beg the question, well, what good use are harpoons once, for example, this Kinda starts letting loose with the SSN-3 at 190 miles? Excellent question. We'll figure that out once we get to it. Yeah, we know it's a hostile sub type. We have him on the passive from the Melbourne. Wow. That's impressive. Melbourne's all the way over there. So they're definitely using convergence zones. And therefore being able to detect a submarine is rather lucky, I think. I mean, given the circumstances, it's very, very handy. I really have all my helicopters out to sea, don't I? Because I'm not so sure if 2 torps are going to be enough. I tend to want to apply a liberal use of torpedoes, making sure that I don't accidentally have a submarine slip past and then have to reacquire it. Which is a bit tedious. Alright, I want you to go and pop up. You're going to go to 500 feet. And you're going to activate your radar. You should be able to see these things soon enough. You guys are way in range already. About 16 miles out. You guys are 20 miles out. I need to get you closer. Go to 1,000 feet. There you are. At least one of you is. Where's your friend? We got him on visual? We don't have him on radar. You just saw him. Okay. One of my sea sprites detected the guy. I need to see where his friend is at. Go to 1,000. Yeah, that submarine's fading in and out. That's fine. We still got plenty of time to deal with that sub. Come on. Where's your friend?
Roger. Turn 132.
I know he's out there somewhere with you. We have him on radar. You're not alone, are you? No, you're not alone. So why can I not pick him up? What if that is the other ship? But it's too small to visually identify and too small to pick up on radar. I guess that's possible. Okay, in that case, I'm going to go with a spread of 2. From this side. And I'm going to go with a salvo of 2 from the other side as well. So the Krivac is going to have to engage 2 different targets. Oh. You're not supposed to all use your missiles, people. You used all of them. You didn't. You can stay here. Okay, so he's going to have 7 missiles to contend with instead of just 4. And these penguins might not look that dangerous, but I found them to be pretty nasty. They're not that... they're not that easy to kill. And they are sea skimmers. They're only doing 20 feet, so it's going to be pretty difficult for them to get a good detection on them and then promptly engage them. Krivac is still not running their radar. At some point they're going to see these. The lookouts are going to get alerted. And when that happens, it's quite likely we will see some radar activity from these ships. As of right now, this guy is going to be in trouble. What? Ah, there's the other guy. Now he's detected it. Radars are active. He's doing what he can now. Soon he should be starting his missile attacks on them. Missile launchers right there, opening up. That's the bow launcher. Stern launcher also coming online. They're engaging the target's port of the ship. And they have successfully engaged all the missiles from one side. Now, how well can you deal with the targets on the other side? Because you can launch 4 missiles in quick succession, but you cannot kill all of these. And that was your problem. Hit! Yeah, he's been completely demolished. Boom. Alright, you. Penguin 2, you still have a missile left. All I need is a surface contact. And I need to wait a little bit of time before this thing sinks, so I don't accidentally slam another missile into it. Submarine. Still around where we last saw it. Good. Okay, so that's a good first kill. That's a good first kill. Let's let this thing sink. Helicopter into a better position. We still don't exactly know what this is, but it's a meager one, so it's a very small contact. Oh, hold on. You're kind of stationary there. Get some more sonar buoys deployed. You're still deploying. Good. You're still deploying. This is another spare anti-ship helicopter, if you will. I had launched another helicopter, but I forgot about it. So we still have 2 penguins standing by in case we're going to need them. I think that by the time the missile gets there, the Krivac will be adequately eliminated. There's the burning Krivac. Package delivered. Job done. MCON. And go low. Not that it really matters, but it's more so to keep the habit, if you will. Alright, dude. Go back that other ship, so we don't have to worry about this Vanguard. We do have a relief convoy to deliver, after all. Ooh, we got it. Unexpected. Did not expect this guy to actually take that missile out. Considering that they're pretty fragile ships. Pretty weak ones, these. But not so weak that they can't actually shoot any missile down. Okay, then. Harpoon time. Give me a salvo of 2 harpoons.
Engage track 7012. Salvo fire.
Launcher ready.
Bulldog away.
And away.
Track 70.
Launcher snaps back up to vertical.
Buoy away.
Another harpoon loaded. Come on. The faster you launch these, the better. Thank you. I want to launch them quickly so that I overwhelm those missile defenses, and not that they get another 20 to 30 seconds of air before the second missile arrives. I want to give them no time to respond. Let's see if this Pecha is going to do any better against 2 Harpoons. Harpoons are fairly similar. Sea skimmers, just like the Penguins. However, I think the Penguins have slightly less payload. Of course, doesn't matter if this thing managed to shoot it down or confuse the missile using chaff. There's the guns. There's the chaff. So far, this missile does not seem to be interested in the chaff. And unless that Pecha gets really lucky with one of those gun hits, that's going to be good night for the Pecha. Yep. Hit. Second Harpoon about to join into the demolition of this Pecha 3. Yeah, there's not much they can do. I think they got really lucky with one of those sets. Oh, sorry, yeah, the AK-726s. Oh, again? Okay. Well done. I think that the damage is catastrophic anyway. The ship is most likely going to flood or burn. So, combat ineffective, I would say. However, my helicopter is getting fairly close. So let's put you slightly farther away from the threat until it has actually passed. I probably have a problem. It's this little dot. This helicopter. This hostile helicopter is going to probably do its level best to try and detect me. At the moment, it's 55 miles out, and there is nothing I can do about it. My standard missiles have a range of 24 miles, so this Ka-27 here is just going to get closer and closer and closer, up until the point where it will detect me. When it does, the missiles will start coming my way. The Udaloy, the Krivak, the Kinda, they're all going to start giving me their undivided missile attention. Thankfully, the SSN-14Bs are not that big of a deal, neither are the missiles from Krivak, but that Kinda is spooky. It has 8 of those large missiles coming my way in a hurry. Between my 6 surface ships, I should be able to engage those and neutralize them, but you can never be too cautious. First, though, we're going to have to deal with our other customer. The Submarine. I have told my ships to speed up to head 2/3 to try and stay sort of within my own sonar network. And as such, I lost contact with Melbourne's passive sonar array and the Submarine. Probably the Melbourne's now going too fast before able to, or rather than being able to detect that Submarine. Unfortunately. As for my own helicopters, most of them are returning to base. Some of them still have sonar buoys, but even if they detect something, they can't actually engage it. So I'm just going to drop as many sonar buoys as I can, and then prepare for further action. Now the passive here. At least I'm not moving that fast. They're doing 6 knots, 20 knots. I have time. Alright, dude. Let's go drop a sonar buoy and see if you can reacquire that Submarine. Whatever it is. I also have the P3 up here. At the moment, I'm not really too sure what to task the P3 with, because it's armed with anti-ship missiles, and that makes it largely useless in the face of a submarine threat. I think I would rather have this thing in the ASW loadout than this submarine, than this loadout, because this is not really going to make it that useful for me. Hostile, we're going to do a approach where we drop a torpedo on him from behind. And hopefully he'll not be aware of the threat. I might have to hurry up though, because my range is definitely starting to decrease. And because of that, I will not be able to stay out here for too long. Preparing to touch down back aboard Melbourne. Landing ships on helicopters in these calm seas, I think, is already impressive, but sometimes you see these clips where ships are just rolling up and down and sideways, and you go, how are you going to put a helicopter down on a platform that just shifts 5 meters up and down and potentially sideways? Skill on these pilots is something I quite admire, especially now that I'm playing Flight Simulator 2024, and sometimes I struggle with landing helicopters there. Alright, so what are we chasing here? What submarine? Echoes, Oscars, or Deltas. Or something else. Alright. This helo is still coming in. Range? 39 miles. I really don't have anything that can reach out and eliminate that thing. And that can very well turn into a problem, because he starts spotting me, I start getting missiles. So, join me next time, as we're going to be going to part 2, where we still have to hunt at least one submarine, and where we have to deal with a couple of surface ships, and some curious things, shall we say. Thank you for watching this one. I hope you've enjoyed. If you're a member, you can already watch the next part right away. And over there, you will see all the weird and wonderful things that I have in store for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.